Hey everyone, welcome to episode 44 of Built in the Borderland. I am your host, Robert Olguin. You know, sometimes this show is serious. I tackle serious topics like politics or immigration. Then sometimes I like to have a little fun. Today's episode is an example of the latter. We're going to get to know more about 3 local businesses, places where you can have a drink, where you can relax, where you can unwind and have some great food if you happen to be hungry. We'll start downtown at the Reagan. It opened earlier this summer. It promises a high-end cocktail experience with some fantastic original creations coming out of the kitchen.
Oh yeah, people love it. People love it, and it's great.
Then we'll head over to the west side, where King's X has been serving customers for more than 5 decades, not to mention its long-running partnership with the very popular Lucy's Cafe.
It's kind of like a place for me to meet my friends, so I had to kind of do what I could to keep it open.
Finally, we'll meet a local nurse who's opened a new cigar lounge on the east side. It's a quiet, cozy location where they're focused on a top shelf experience.
So I have a section in my humidor that's my go-to beginner cigar.
So I'm glad you're with me on this week's edition of Built in the Borderland. Hey everyone, so I'm interrupting the start of this episode to remind everyone that the video and the interviews that are part of tonight's show were actually shot several weeks ago, before the mask mandate went into effect in El Paso. So keep in mind, these interviews, these stories were shot earlier this month before the mask mandate. So let's get back to the show. Right in the heart of downtown El Paso, you'll come upon the Reagan. That's a fantastic new cocktail bar and restaurant. It opened earlier this summer. It was created by Cassie Foster Nava and her husband, Alex Nava. Now, Cassie is the daughter of El Paso billionaire Paul Foster. And this new project represents a new chapter for her and her husband. Cassie, first of all, congratulations on this venture. Give me the background story. Give me how it starts for you and your husband.
So it's kind of interesting. I have always wanted to open a bar since I was younger, and he also he used to own a club. And so then when we got together and we just ended up talking, and the idea just kind of came about, and we put it together, and it involves a lot of our personal interests, and it brings a lot of our personality comes into this place, which I think is great, and I love that. And yeah, it just kind of, we put it together. It came pretty easily to us to put it together.
The concept, I would imagine, but then the actual execution, especially when it comes to an old, beautiful building like this, I'm sure that part wasn't easy.
That took some time, yeah. So construction took a year, right? From start to finish, I think it was a year, and took a lot of patience, but it actually worked out timing-wise as far as COVID and everything, and so being able to open at full capacity, and
So give me a sense of just the reaction. We were talking a little bit about whether the community would respond to essentially a reflection of your tastes, right? So talk to me about that.
Yeah, so we brought something here that El Paso's never seen before, and you see it in bigger cities, and so people made us nervous and told us, it wouldn't work here, but I think it has. I think people love it. I think they don't feel like they're in El Paso when they come here, and I think that's really cool.
What is it when you say that, when you say we wanted to bring something that wasn't El Paso, that's in big cities? Identify that for me, quantify it. What does it mean?
I would just say the vibe, the feel, the music, the look. I mean, it all, we brought in different elements from bars that we love personally, and even ones we haven't been to but we've seen and we follow on Instagram, and so. And
it's one thing to open a bar, but what I find interesting is that you guys also tackled the ambitious endeavor of introducing a pretty bold menu too. So I mean, you weren't just happy with a bar, right?
Yeah, and the food is fantastic. Hector Saenz, our chef, is great. He's done a wonderful job. We plan to expand the menu down the road. The restaurant was definitely something I've never done, and so that was that was new and interesting. So right now the menu just consists of some flatbreads, which are wonderful, and then we have some chicken lollipops, we have a couple burgers, fried chicken sandwich.
Okay, so Cassie, you mentioned craft cocktails and the cocktail program here. So let's get into that a little bit. What does that mean?
So our cocktail director, Cesar Perez, he is pretty much the backbone of the bar, and we wouldn't be able to do this place without him. He comes up with these crazy concoctions and different recipes and spends hours doing it, and his detail is just impressive. It's pretty amazing what he does.
So again, it's not a place where you order or you could order, I suppose, a whiskey soda, but I mean, this also entails some work and some craftsmanship on the bartender's part. So
exactly. So the cocktails will take a little bit of time, more than a vodka soda, but you'll enjoy it more, and it's an experience. It's a show when you get your cocktail. So.
Listen, we're talking about this building which you guys have restored beautifully. Clearly, there's the meticulous attention to detail is there. But give me an idea of the challenges that you faced, when you guys were doing this. Give me a sense of what that was like.
Well, I mean, this was, like I was telling you, completely empty when we came in, and so we redid every detail minus the walls. We left the walls. We had to change out the ceilings. We added the mezzanine. We redid the basement for storage and office space, and I mean, challenge after challenge, as old buildings, as far as plumbing and everything goes, there was lots of different challenges, but it worked out. It all came together great, so we couldn't be happier.
Coming up after the break, an El Paso institution. We learn more about the man behind King's X and its story of survival. Stay with us. I think of King's X as a landmark. It's one of those places that you've just come to expect. You just always know it's going to be there. And for generations, it's been the neighborhood bar out here in West El Paso. It's managed to survive for more than 50 years. And in the bar business, that's no small feat. I like to feature new, exciting businesses and certainly new places to hang out. And then there are the longtime survivors, the kind of places that you can always depend on. I think King's X falls into that category.
I agree. I mean, we're working on the 59 years here. Yeah. We opened in, I believe, 63, so still going pretty strong.
I think it's interesting when you say, I believe that we opened in 63. Give me that story, Elliot.
Well, the records, I looked at the city records, and my dad bought the property in 62. I figured give them a few months to remodel and whatever, get it ready, and opened up as the King's X in 63. So
yeah, because your dad couldn't tell you exactly when he opened, right?
Correct. Yeah. Back in the day, he was running 10 or 15 different bars at the time too. So
over the years, Dad, what's this place been? What's it been for you to kind of keep this place open and going?
Well, it's fun, I mean, I like to see people having a good time. It's fun to meet new people and see the transition of, people get old, they don't come out as much, and they're trying to get younger people to come in, and they enjoy it. And every time I meet somebody new, they say, "Oh, I love this place," and I go, "Why?" Because it reminds me of a place back in Philly or back east or something, and I just try and figure out what makes them enjoy it.
There must be an instinct in you to don't mess with a good thing, right? Even if it might be tempting.
Yeah, I get lots of suggestions from people. You ought to do this, you ought to do that, and you're right. It's kind of like, let's just, let's keep it comfortable. My dad taught me a long time ago, a good drink at a fair price, you'll have business all the time.
Let's talk about how difficult it must have been during the pandemic. And I say that because I know of a lot of longtime business owners who, during that time, during the slowdown, thought, well, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. And maybe this is the time to exit. Did that ever cross your mind?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I mean, I was lucky enough to save up some money. So when we were closed 7 months of last year, we were closed 3 months and got to open for a month and then closed for another 4 or 5 months, whatever it was. And I was lucky to save enough money to be able to pay my bills with no income coming in. Lucy's was able to stay open with their, pick up, deliver type of thing. So they did okay. But for us, I did a lot of maintenance that needed to be done, and it's kind of like a place for me to meet my friends. So I had to kind of do what I could to keep it open, so that when they have a place to meet in the afternoons when they get off work, or because it's not just me, it's a lot of my regulars have been coming in here for 25, 30 years, and they enjoy meeting each other here.
Yeah, I mean, it is. That's what a neighborhood bar is about, right? It's like a place where you know that you can go and like where everyone knows your name, I guess, right?
Right. And I'm pretty sure if you've been out of town for 20 years, you come by, you say, oh, the King's X, well, it's still there. You'll come in, and you're most likely still going to know somebody you hadn't seen in 20 years. Yeah. You're going to recognize them.
And everyone's got a King's X story for sure,
True, yeah. I met a kid, I don't know if I should say this, but about 3 weeks ago, he goes, yeah, man, my parents swear that I was conceived in the parking lot. And he's 25 years old now, so it's one of those. And I've met some people here that they met here, got married, moved away, and then they brought their 23-year-old kids back to say, hey, this is where we met, this is where we first started going and dating, and so it was, it's fun to hear stories like that.
Completely. You mentioned Lucy's. Let's touch on that a little bit. I mean, that's they kind of go hand in hand when you think of the King's X and you think of Lucy's. And you said it started as a handshake deal.
Right. Well, back in the day when the place burned up in '67 a little bit, and so when we remodeled and made it a big bar, and then my dad added a kitchen, just a little kitchen area, and had different people running the kitchen area and stuff, and then business got a little slower, and so we moved the bar over, put the wall in, and made it a bigger restaurant. And Lucy's came in, they needed a place. This was a handshake between my dad and Lucy's. This is what your rent's gonna be, and this is what you gotta do, and you sell the food, we'll sell the alcohol. Yeah. And it's been like that for 35 years now.
That's a pretty impressive partnership.
Yeah.
But they work really well together, don't they?
Definitely. My dad he'd been in the bar business forever, but he never was in the food part of the business. And he never wanted any part of that business, and I've pretty much gone by his example and don't know much about the restaurant business. I don't know what food costs should be or not, but so I'll let Lucy's do their job and I do my part, and it's been a great marriage for over 30 years.
So when we talk about looking forward, looking down the road, what do you think about when you think about King's X?
Well, my daughter works here with me now. My wife does all the books. My daughter is helping me run the place. She wants to see it go another 50 years. And it's not a job to her. It's been her whole life. So she wants to see it go on forever. I think we can do it. I think we can go for a lot longer. Depending on whatever rules and regulations come down the road later on, we'll see. I mean, we survived, so far we survived the COVID, and we survived TxDOT out front there, so we're doing all right.
Coming up, we head to the east side, where we'll meet a local nurse who wants to educate El Pasoans about fine cigars, and he's doing it by way of his brand new cigar lounge. Stay with us. Not far from El Paso International, in a pretty crowded strip mall on Airway, you'll come upon the Humo Cigar Boutique and Lounge. Now, this business is only a few months old, but it's starting to build a loyal following. I chatted with the owner, who's a local nurse who wants to help educate El Pasoans about fine cigars.
Hello, my name is Gerardo Gutierrez. This is Anielka Figueroa, and we are at Humo Cigar Lounge and Barberia. We're located at 1160 Airway, here off by the airport. We are a full-service cigar lounge. We're an in-lounge cigar lounge, something very different to El Paso. We are also a full, we want to call ourselves an ultra lounge. We don't like calling ourselves a bar. We specialize in a lot of high-end type drinks, high-end wine, cigars. We are also a full-time barbershop. Something very different to El Paso. We kind of went out on a limb on this. We weren't sure what was going to happen. We opened on Cinco de Mayo, and so far El Paso, Texas has shown the love. I mean, we are actually very pleasantly surprised of how successful Humo Cigar has been so far.
What does an ultra lounge mean? I mean, I'm getting the sense of it by being here, but how do you define it?
I think El Paso, I'm a native of Palson, I'm 55 years old. I think that for our age group, El Paso was lacking an area where people our age, professionals, could have a place to go, chill, hang out, have a glass of wine, listen to soft music. A bar is a little bit of a different, I think it's a different vibe. We don't have high volume customers. We have a certain clientele that comes here on a very regular basis. And it's more loungy. I got this idea from a place called the Barbershop in Las Vegas that's located at the Cosmopolitan. So very, very chill, easygoing. You can actually have a conversation at a table and you're not screaming at each other. So that's what I would consider a lounge more than a bar.
So it's interesting. You saw an opportunity to reach a clientele that maybe wasn't being served, and you said, I'm gonna go for it. That's a risk. There's inherent risk in a business venture like this, right? Tell me a little bit about your background that brings you to this point.
So I've been a registered nurse for 27 years. I love the nursing field. I think with the pandemic, it took a toll on people in the medical field. When Anielka and I first started this business, pandemic hits, and we're all invested a lot of our personal savings. We did not partner up with anybody. We didn't take any loans. So all of a sudden, pandemic hits, and we're kind of like, what the hell did we do?
Yeah.
You know, and I think there's a lot of businesses that were asking themselves the same question. But I knew, being an El Pasoan, I know how El Paso strong is, and it's been successful. It's been a successful business. The way I started this was so Anielka is originally from Managua, Nicaragua. 95% of our cigars come from Esteli, Nicaragua, which is her native country. When we first started dating, her father is an export attorney in Nicaragua. He oversees a portion of the government that's called La Zona Franca. So basically, he is the union lawyer for the worker in Nicaragua. He oversees any type of factory that exports, whether it's Under Armour, Victoria's Secret, all the tobacco companies. So his job is to take care of the worker. So when we started dating, I'd been smoking cigars for a few years, maybe 10, 15 years. And when we started dating, he started sending me boxes of cigars that to me were just like off the shelf. I mean, just high quality, something that I would never purchase on my own. And I'm thinking, hey, wait a minute, I can do something with this. You know, you can start a business and order your items online, but the mere fact that we have access to the product, the owners, we've met the people. You know, they have a saying in cigar culture that cada puro pasa por 200 pares de manos. So basically, it takes 100 people to make one cigar. So when you're actually in their country, you know, most of these countries are third world countries, very poor people. You appreciate what actually goes into a cigar. But I think it's becoming a culture in El Paso that was long overdue. Something that I believe has made us very successful is that I love to teach. 90% of our customers are novice smokers. We hear it all the time. You know, I've always been curious. I've always wanted to try to smoke a cigar, but I wouldn't know what to even ask for. So I have a section in my humidor that's my go-to beginner cigar. You know, I can sell them. We can sell them a $30 cigar, and they're never going to want to try it ever again. So, you know, I want to tease their palate a little bit, kind of introduce them, and I would say 80% of them have become our regular customers. But it's become a family. I would say, on a Friday night when we have jazz, let's just say we have 100 people in here. I would say that I know at least 80% of those individuals by name. But it pleases us to see that it's become a place, kind of a little haven for relaxation. So we're super excited. We're opening a second location.
Wow, that's fast. That's amazing.
We're opening on East Lake over in Horizon City. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes. I mean, you don't know until you try it.
We will be right back right after this break. Well, we have come to the end of another episode of Built in the Borderland. I want to thank you for coming along for the ride. If you enjoy the show, and I certainly hope that you do, help spread the word. Tell some friends about it. And I'm always available on Facebook and Twitter. You can let me know about some story ideas that you think I should explore. Until then, I will be back here next week. My name is Robert Holguin. Take care, everyone.